It's the Craggy Rugby Podcast. It's now my fourth attempt to start this one. It's just been so long since we had a game in the sports ground, I've just lost all momentum. But anyway, it's the Scarlets game. It's a nice breezy day, pretty cold, but the sun is shining. I've got Danny Deegan in a packed clan stand. What are you expecting today, Danny?
I'm hoping for a good win with Connacht. Get the bonus point, could end up in fifth. But this Scarlet side are nothing to, they're not just going to roll over and let us get a win. They have a good, strong starting 15.
They certainly do. And in the starting 15 for Connacht, great to see Gavin Thornbury back, and even better to see young Owen the Butler getting his first start for Connacht, and hopefully he goes really well today. Yeah,
we're watching them in the warm-up here. Line-out was going pretty well. It's kind of hard to miss Gavin Thornbury, and he's been one of our better line-out callers, so hopefully everything goes well there.
It's the Origins weekend. It's where they wear their socks from their first club and their first school that they played rugby in. And as I say, it's great to see someone like Owen getting his chance from on Carraroo and seeing where rugby gets spread right across the province and all over the island. Brilliant to see. Anyway, we'll talk again in 20 minutes because I'm still rambling. Okay, Danny, we're 20 minutes in. Connacht lead 12-0, 2 tries. Owen the Butler got his second try for Connacht, and Caolin Blade gets one closer to Tiernan O'Halloran. I had his stats wrong. I thought they were practically level, but he's still 2 behind him on 46 now. But yeah, it's been a good start, but it's got a bit messy the last 5 minutes.
Yeah, Connacht came out of the traps like absolutely firing. To be honest, it's been all Connacht.
Yeah.
Really, Scarlets haven't done much. Connacht have had 6 entries to Scarlets 22 now.
They're playing with quite a strong breeze.
Yeah, but Scarlets are getting. They're not going forward. They're losing the contacts. They're not getting over the gain line. Rugby's a simple game. You have the ball, go forward. You don't have the ball, you go forward.
Yeah.
Scarlets aren't doing that.
They aren't. Okay, Connacht still on the attack. We'll talk again at halftime. Okay, Danny, halftime. Connacht lead 19 points to 7. It's not over yet.
No, Connacht have had 10 entries into the Scarlets 22. Only come away with the 3 tries. It's quite frustrating. For a team that's on top, not to be coming away with points, it's very irritating. Scarlets will have the win in the second half, but they're not doing much when they have the ball. So I'm still confident that Connacht are going to get the win. It's just frustrating. Will they be able to get over to get that bonus point?
Yeah, we need the bonus point. We need a lot bigger points difference as well, looking at everybody else in the league, and it's going to be really important. But it's we just keep seeming to make a little bit too many mistakes when we get into their 22. And the pass that gave them their try, the intercept, there was no need to throw that pass. There really wasn't.
No, absolutely not. It was kind of floated up there. It made it very easy. But it does look like that's the game plan. They've done it well more than 4 or 5 times. They keep going out to the wing. They're trying to drag Scarlets out.
They are.
It was just the wrong decision at that time.
It was. We'll talk again on 60 minutes with hopefully news of a bonus point. But it's a hell of a breeze Connacht are playing into the second half, so we'll see how it goes. Okay, Danny, 60 minutes, and we do have some good news. Connacht did eventually get the bonus point try after Scarlets have dominated that first 15 minutes of the second half. But beautiful bit of footwork from Dennis Buckley for Sean Johnson to get a second try of the game.
Yeah, it was a superb pick up from Johnson to finish it off, but lovely bit of footwork from Bucks, all right.
After a beautiful offload from Mushing Dowling, he's made a big impact.
Well, the whole bench has. They've changed the front row, and it's really given them a whole load of energy.
It's starting to rain, actually. It's starting to rain.
It doesn't look like it's going to be Scarlets' night. They spent the guts of 15 minutes in Connacht's half in the second half, and they've only come away with a penalty out of 3 entries. There's been a bit of fighting, but that's what you want to see as well.
Yes, Dowling comes on and immediately there's a row. We're not saying anything, not causation and correlation and all that. Anyway, 60 minutes gone, Connacht lead 26 points to 10. We'll talk again at full time. All right, full time score, Connacht 26, Scarlets 10. It was more or less all we needed. That rain the last 10-15 minutes are the spoiled Connacht's chances, plus a few injuries as well.
A lot of injuries, not just a few. At one point we had 3 players down, and the bench were kind of looking at us like, uh-oh, what are we going to do here?
Yeah, Dowling gone, looks like a pretty bad ankle injury, and Tiernan and Caolin Ford went off what looked like HIA definitely for 40.
For both, I think.
Yeah, probably Tiernan as well, yeah.
They got away. They got a HIA on both because both players were replaced.
Yeah, exactly. So, look, we got the win. Can't ask for any more. We got the bonus point. Can't ask for any more. We're now back in the top 8. It's in our own control as to whether we make it for the playoffs.
Yeah, and as long as it's in your own hands, that's all you want.
Yeah, it is indeed. Okay, let's break and go for the post-match press conference.
Pete, that was a tough win, but well done in the end.
Yeah, thanks. I think it's a really important bonus point win for us in the context of the competition. It was always going to be very tough into that win second half, and particularly as the rain started to come in. So it was important we got some momentum in that first half, and I think we managed to do that. But at the same time, probably less than scores out there as well. So it was important we had to dig in to see out the game, and I thought we played some fantastic stuff at times, and there were probably a couple of open goals that we left out there as well, where we could have made it more. So really pleasing overall.
It was a very fast start. I mean, you were 19-0 up in 23 minutes. Did the sort of maybe the hard edge drop a little bit then, and there wasn't up to half time? There was a couple more chances to really put the game away with that big wind advantage. Yeah,
there's definitely a couple more chances that we left out there first half. I don't think the edge dropped. It was something we talked about a lot in the build-up to this game. We'd looked at various opposition teams, particularly the Edinburgh game against Scarlets, where they got out to an early lead, 3 scores, and their intensity dropped, and Scarlets fought their way back in and ended up becoming a pretty messy last 15-20 minutes for Edinburgh, despite their win in that. And we actually talked about that on Monday and pulled apart the timeline of that, and just the importance of discipline, the importance of staying on task, the importance of not throwing long loose balls and giving away intercepts. So I was actually really pleased with how the guys stuck to task. I thought it was probably just more execution in terms of taking some of those opportunities, and obviously a couple of more opportunities that didn't work out down there in the attacking 22 as well. So I don't think there was a lack of intensity or a lack of sticking to the plan, but I think we lacked a little bit of polish. And as I said, there could have been 3 or 4 more scores there in that first half if we got our bit right.
Does that the polish issue come from the stop-start nature of this part of the season, where you play a game, then you stop for 2 weeks, then you play a game, then you stop for 2 weeks, and then it's like a start of another run of games. Then it's very disconcerting.
Yeah, it is strange. I don't know whether that's the only factor. I'm sure it contributes to it in some ways, but some of the chances we had, we got done for double banking on and attacking more 5 metres out where we'd back ourselves to score. There was another more technical penalty in terms of guys peeling around too early, sort of 20 metres out. We had putting a ball down in the corner, which just a fingertip away from being grounded, and we had Seamus's offload that didn't go to hand really early when he probably didn't realise he was coming out the other side of the tackle. So some of those bits, some nights you have things like that, and as I said, I think the important thing was that we kept doing the same things that were creating those opportunities. We didn't go off task and lose faith, I suppose, in what was giving us those opportunities, and in the end we took enough of them.
In the second half, playing against that wind, was it a case that the defensive effort really just never really gave the Scarlets much opportunity, and that effort was the key to that half?
I think it was a really important factor. Yeah, I agree with that. We talked at half time about the fact that we would be having more defence and longer defensive sets, probably on the back of some contestable kicking, just because of the nature of playing into that wind. So it's no mean feat, because I think you're already running more phases to try and get a bit of traction coming out of your own half before you kick, and then you're having to defend for a long period on the back of it. So we did talk about that, and in fairness, the lads responded. It was part of the reason we used the bench fairly early with a lot of those forwards, was to make sure we could maintain that intensity. And as we said in the build-up, that's one of the appealing bits of the 6-2, is that you can use some of those forward substitutes fairly early and make sure you're staying at that level. But I think that was really important, playing into that wind.
Owen de Butler making his first start seemed to go okay to me. I thought he looked the part. And then Gavin Thornbury as well, back after a fairly substantial break. So it probably was good to be able to take them off early, but were you happy with what they did?
Yeah, I was delighted with Owen and delighted for Owen. I thought he was fantastic. For a young hooker to come into the team for a start like that, against a really big physical Scarlets pack. I thought he played really well, and take into account how windy it was, particularly in that first half with the line-out throwing. I thought he rose to the challenge fantastically. Absolutely delighted for him. And I think Gavin was an important part of that in terms of his intelligence around some of that line-out calling. He wasn't taking the pressure off Owen by just calling everything to the front. You can't, because you've got Fafita there who's looking to pick them off. So, they weren't easy throws, but Gav was really smart with the spaces he picked. And, I thought Owen executed that really well.
And Niall Murray again, more physical. You've spoken about what he was asked to work on, but he seemed to get back up to that level again that you were looking for.
Yeah, I thought Niall was great. I think he's an incredible athlete for a man his size. He's got a great engine on him, and he'll run all day. So, he demonstrated that. We know he's going to steal line-outs for you. He demonstrated that, and as you alluded to, he's then powerful in contact as well. So, no, Niall had a good game as well, and I think all of our forward pack rose to the challenge, and I was really pleased for them.
Caolin, what was it like to play in that game? I mean, the conditions, the wind, and then in the second half it got pretty nasty when the sleet started coming down. It was just a hard game to keep going in.
Yeah, I think we, as you alluded to, we started so well. I suppose a little bit of frustration came in when, as Pete said, that we had so many chances. But I thought the lads kept going so well. I think the wind actually died a little bit in the second half when the game went back to 1910, which actually helped us a little bit. But yeah, look, I think we wanted 5 points. We got 5 points, so we need to be happy. But I think it just shows you where we are. We win for the first time away to Cardiff in first time in 7 years, and today we come into the dressing room, we're still a little bit disappointed after getting a bonus point win at home to Scarlets. So I think it's a credit to Pete, culture he's driving here, and there's definitely more in us. But we'll take this break for the next week, and I think it's such an exciting few weeks when we come back.
How are you going to deal with Sean Jansen with 2 tries? I mean, he's going to be telling everybody about that, isn't he? I mean, big forwards love scoring a try, but to get 2, one after the other in the game, and essentially get the bonus point, I mean, he's going to be sitting in the corner pretty happy with that.
I didn't even know he scored 2, but I don't think it's going to be him. I think it's going to be Dennis Buckley saying about his kicked for the assist. I think he'll be talking about that for weeks to come. Yeah, no, look, I think that's what Sean Jansen brings to us. He's extremely physical. He's an extreme athlete for us, and yeah, delighted for him. He deserves it.
The link up at 12-13 today, you'd have seen a lot of that. I mean, maybe in Cardiff it wasn't quite there, and there's probably things to work on, but it did look a more settled partnership today, and both of those players were able to get on and do their own things. Yeah,
it's amazing to have two lads in the centre. They're very different but very same at the exact same time. And Caol Ford is just amazing for us. I think the way he carries, I wouldn't like to be a defender when he's attacking, and then you have Hawks outside him, which is just an incredibly intelligent player but has so much to his game. He's played it out half, so he has that kind of calmness outside Caol. So they complement each other. And there's huge, like we have Bundy as well, who's gone away at the moment. So it's nice to have Caol Ford to kind of slip in there at the moment.
Yeah. Bundy's he's being missed. I won't say the other thing, but I'm sure he is. How do you find this stopping and starting stuff? Is there a feeling that when you play the Lions, you're going to feel, right, we're really back in? It's going to just be hard rugby after that, week in, week out.
I don't mind it, to be honest. I think the block of games we had at the start of the season, it's actually kind of nice to have a game and have a bit of recovery. I'm nearly hitting 30 now, so I'm kind of feeling it.
Yeah.
But no, everyone's the same. Everyone's the same. But I think the way we train is quite good. So we're kind of always at that level. We're always pushed to that kind of intensity. So I personally don't mind it. It's nice to have a weekend off, watch the Six Nations. So take them when they come.
Pete, you're back in the top 8 now, I think, on points, and you've gone ahead of a few people. So it's set up for the rest of the season. It's about wins, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. I think that performance tonight puts us up to 6th. I know Ulster have to play tomorrow against Dragons. That may leave us 7th after the weekend, but we're definitely in the mix now. We felt confident with the different fixtures we had that this was our time to start moving up the table. But at the same time, you've got to take those opportunities. And so Cardiff was a tough one in terms of historically for us to get results there, but we managed to do that. Everyone would have backed us, I imagine, against Scarlets in terms of us being at home and obviously some of their struggles this season, but we still had to do the job, and it'll be the same against the Lions, and we'll keep taking it 1 week at a time. But we are moving in the right direction, and I think with that momentum comes a bit of confidence, and I think we'll continue to get better.
Any word on Oisin Dowling? He went off with what looked like a lower leg or ankle.
Yeah, he injured his ankle, so he's downstairs in a moon boot there, so we'll get him scanned and find out the extent of it. He's a bit sore, but we'll wait and see on that one.
And everybody else came through, maybe apart from the two HIAs. That was just one of those incidents, was it?
Yeah, it was unfortunate. Tiernan landed pretty heavily, so his HIA, but he's moving around fine downstairs, and 40 caught a boot in the same instance to the head. So he was pretty dazed from that, but again he's walking around and talking fine. So they'll be well looked after and follow the protocols, but no, nothing else to report.
Okay, they were the voices of Caolin Blade and Pete Wilkins after a good solid win. Dave Finn, you happy with that?
5 points. 5 points, yeah, job done. Don't worry, it's not going to live long in the memory. It was a bit of a nothing game. But remarkably, that was a Connacht game with 20 minutes to go where you go, do you know what, I can go home, there's nothing going to happen. And literally, as far as I was concerned, after Sean Jansen scored his try, nothing happened. We had a few substitutions, a few injuries, a couple of interesting incidents with the referee. But yeah, if you switched off for 20 minutes, you didn't miss much.
Yeah, exactly.
You missed Dennis Buckley with some fabulous footballing skills, which is going to live forever in his mind and will probably end up being from the halfway by the time he's gone.
Dennis Law, I called him Dennis Law.
I would point out that Jack Ainger, by this evening, will have sidestepped 4 people from his own touchline before putting Blady in for the first try. So
he did run a long way for that one. He definitely did. So the props definitely did give us something. And for people of a certain generation, you won't have a clue who Dennis Law was. Look him up on YouTube. He's a fabulous footballer.
I was going to say Dennis Bergkamp is named after him until I realised a lot of people won't know who Dennis Bergkamp is. It was just truly depressing.
Yes, our age profiles are getting a bit too high for this. Anyway, who stood out for you tonight? Carl Ford got man of the match. I hate man of the match. I think our person of the match or player of the match, whatever the hell it is. It's a team game. Having said that, you could still have players who, inspire. I thought both centres were brilliant.
Yeah, both centres were brilliant. The pack worked really hard as well. I thought Owen de Butler had a really good game for his first start. Was working really, really hard. Good line-out throwing. Maybe everything after the line-out wasn't too bad, but the throwing was solid.
Yeah. What about you, Dave?
That's very much. I think pretty much nailed it there. Wanted to give Jansen a shout out. I thought Keane was quietly effective. I thought Seamus was quietly effective. I thought the bench was huge. I think they really did, because you just felt that they've got a little bit of momentum at the start of the second half. They were winning scrum penalties. We were creating a little bit of our own issues, because we felt we had to run out, because apparently we were running into a brick wall of a wind, so you can't really kick. And as we saw in the first half, I mean, they had a penalty from the 5 metre line and they couldn't get out of 22 because of the wind. So we knew that, and I think we created some of that. We almost seemed to try too hard, and it just needed some sensible heads to come on, some fresh energy, and it did happen. So yeah, everybody was good. Nobody was a 10 out of 10, but nobody was less than a 7 out of 10, and that's what you want.
Yeah, it's something that's becoming something that's becoming part of the Connacht setup, is that the bench do come on and do make a big impact on a regular basis now, Danny. They certainly did in Cardiff as well.
They did. It's nearly like they're changing game plan when the pack or the bench come on. It's like just small changes. It's not a massive change, but you're bringing on, say, Sean O'Brien for Jansen. It's 2 completely different styles. Butler did it in Cardiff, just settled it all down. One of the reasons I think we didn't kick that often tonight, I know we were playing against that wind, but we were winning the contacts. We were getting over the gain line. Scarlets couldn't do that, certainly not in the first half, where Connacht were. So why change it if it's not broken? So, and they got the 5 tries.
Hey, four tries. Yeah, should have been. Well, they were over the line twice more, didn't they? Or once more. Poor Andrew Smith likes to do that dive and jump over into the corner and get himself up in the air, and almost did it. Just about lost control. Would have been another spectacular try from him.
It would have been a spectacular try, and it was given on the pitch. Unfortunately, because they were looking, even though the referee The touchline said he's fine for his feet, but we'll go for the touchline and we'll check it, and then we see, it would have been,
it would have been harsh to give.
Yeah, it would have been harsh to give, but if it was ironic that the thing they were checking for was never in doubt. It was the thing they weren't checking for turned out to be the doubt.
Which was the grounding of the ball.
I'm delighted Owen the Butler got his stride because he would have been killing himself. I don't think Moose knew he was that close to the line and was out of the tackle, and I was going, why did he pass? And I don't think Owen expected him to pass since he dropped the ball. There was a couple of other, but it's about efficiency. We got very close to the line in the second half and we scored a try. It should be. I should say that yes, Dennis's kick through was nice, if it was intended.
Of course, it was.
Yeah, if it was okay, it was intended. It was a lovely little grubber off the foot from a loft
both
pass.
feet.
But what I think is really significant is Jansen's pickup when it came off the post, considering he was sliding on a wet AstroTurf, is really, because you can as we have seen here, it's very easy to misjudge exactly where lines are if you're sliding in and forward.
Absolutely right. So Danny, that Dave just mentioned efficiency. What was the efficiency for Connacht tonight?
Well, the second half was 50%, but overall it's only 25%, which is not great.
Yeah, that's not. I mean, it's one of those things. Like as I said to Pete, would be more upset if you weren't creating the chances. We need to finish the chances.
I think we'd be more upset if we didn't get the bonus point.
Yeah, we'd be more upset. Yeah, that would be.
That's it.
And it did.
So that's basically 2 games in a row where we've won the game and gone away thinking we should have got more out of that. But we won both games, and that's William's always gone on about the W's. Although if he reads out the table this week, he'll see that it's not just about the W's, because
it's a very simple.
Munster are ahead of us, but they've won 1 game less.
And it's significant as well if you actually look at the Six Nations table. Wales haven't won a game, but they're ahead of Italy because they've got more bonus points. So
you have to count the bonus points. It's such an important, subtle part of the whole thing.
Yeah, it is, and it could make the very difference. I think, look, we win our games when we make the playoffs. As I said, those last 3 games absolutely pretty.
Well, the Stormers aren't going particularly well.
But I'm thinking the last 3 games you're away to Leinster, include away to Leinster and away down to Thomond, and you don't want to be having to go getting any.
And what I'm saying is that I'm not sure the Stormers game is as big a game as it looked as though it would at the start of the season. Stormers are not going well.
True, but I was saying I still would like to be kind of like solidly, like not having to rely something like 5 points from the Munster game would be incredibly handy. And of course,
then the Lions had a massive win today. Like they stuck 40 points on the Sharks.
They don't do well in Europe.
They don't do well in Europe. But all the same, you're talking about a Lions team come up here bouncing.
Yeah, and you're talking about a Connacht team that's just won 2 games.
Yeah. I mean, if we were going down there, even after 2 games, we'd still be a little bit twitchy.
If we were going down there, I'm feeling completely opposite. I'm feeling that's 100% Lions because it's in Joburg. Just at the altitude, all that kind of stuff. But Lions have to come up here. It was bloody cold.
Yep.
It's March the 2nd, lads.
Yeah. Oh yeah, but there's cold, and there's March the 2nd cold, and then there's that cold. Yeah. That's thankfully William's not here, so we can't talk about Siberia. But it was bloody cold, and he can't give out to us about that. Anyway, that's anything. Any other business? We've got 6 Nations to look forward to at the weekend.
Oh, one thing. This crap that's coming out in the UK, in the Telegraph, Mirror, whatever it was, about guns for hire in the international game, Bundy being called a gun for hire. I don't like it's more of a case of how is that being printed? How is that getting past anybody? It's borderline. It's
the nature of if I remember the Telegraph, and
the Tory graph,
it absolutely fits everything else. And you're there thinking, there isn't a team that this doesn't apply to. There is barely a team. The only team I can think of that this does not apply to is Argentina. Everybody.
South Africa.
No, they've got a few Namibians and Zimbabwe lads. Not as many as they used to have, but they have done.
They used to have
look. Guns for hire. Yeah. Do you know what? No. Guns for hire is what the Dragons are doing by. That's a hire. They've got a guy in from Gloucester. That's a gun for hire. It's for a couple of games when you're in a bit of an emergency. You cannot be a gun for hire in international rugby. It's just a typical get them all going without actually looking at the team that's got most guns for hire, which is England, who have picked a guy who scored their try the last day, who comes from deepest, darkest part of England, known as Cardiff.
There you go. Exactly. All right, folks. We'll leave it there. We'll have it's a 2-week break, but we'll have a couple of bits. Myself and Danny are going to put a stats cast together and maybe get some trends on what the stats are showing for the season and where Connacht are going. As Dave has a hissy fit here in the corner.
Starts to fall asleep.
Yeah. Well, some of our patrons are very good who like to hear some of what the stats are, because we've got some good trends to talk about as the season has moved on. We'd like to thank everyone who has been supporting the podcast, and if you want to hear all the extra bits, we had 5 this week. This is our 6th podcast of the week. Yeah, we had 5, Dave. So yeah, you want to hear every bit of the podcast every podcast that we produce, you can go to patreon.com/CraggieRugby and price of a couple of cups of coffee, not even that these days.
It's less than a pint.
Less than a pint, yeah.
In many pubs in the Temple Bar area, it's less than the pint glass.
Well, there you go, exactly. You can support Craggy Rugby, and we'll keep as much information flowing on what's happening in the world of Connacht Rugby as the season progresses. But it's nice to go away with 2nd win in a row and a bonus point win at that. That's it, folks.
Loose, cut it loose. Break out or nothing changes. Sad and confused. Don't wait until